Hello, guys, and welcome to another One Stop Wrestling podcast. I am your host, Alex. I'm joined this week by Rohit and Alfonso. And this week is going to be a slightly more somber opening to the show, really. Obviously, really bad week to be a wrestling fan last week. We lost Terry Funk. Age 79. Then a day later, we tragically and sadly had to say goodbye to Wyndham Rotunda, who was better known on screen as Bray Wyatt. News reported by Triple H initially on Twitter, saying that Wyndham's family had let him know that he'd passed away. Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful then commented saying that Rotunda passed away from a heart attack. He had his last match back in January at the Royal Rumble against LA Knight. He was starting a feud with Bobby Lashley, which would have probably culminated at WrestleMania that year, but he contracted COVID, and that was the last time we saw him on screen, really. He suffered with long COVID, which exacerbated a already existing heart issue, which led to his heart attack. There were creative plans for him to come back, but it was a bit of a shock, really. Very, very shocking turn of events. He obviously, people knew he was ill, but there were plans for him to come back, so it was a bit of a shock reveal that what had happened to him. Obviously, highly distinguished wrestler, creative mind, very well respected by fans. He was a former WWE champion, a Universal champion. He wrestled The Undertaker, John Cena at WrestleMania. Had a pretty good career, really, in the main event scene. He was very well liked, really, very popular amongst the fan base for his creative mind. Very, very revered by his peers and fellow wrestlers, as you may have seen recently. Lots of tributes to him. Lots of kind words said about how great he was backstage, helping people, things like that. Obviously, I would never like to compare deaths. Terry Funk was 79. He lived a long life. You know, any death is tragic, obviously, but for Bray Wyatt to pass at the age of 36 just doesn't seem quite right. So today we are going to talk about, some of our favorite moments, matches, anything really, anything you guys want to talk about in relation to Bray Wyatt. Obviously this is a time where wrestling fans come together. It doesn't matter who you like, who you love, who you hate, who you support. Everyone comes together as one when these sorts of things happen. Wrestling fans know exactly what it is like. And just a tragic situation, really. So let's try and lift the mood a little bit if we can. Let's try and talk about some of the good things, some of the positives in the career of Bray Wyatt. So Rohit, let's start with you. How are you this evening? Apologies for the long intro, but
It's okay. I'll just let you do your thing. But hi everyone. I'm good. Hope everyone else is doing well. I know it's a sad time if you're a wrestling fan, but again, just gotta look at positives. And again, RIP to Terry Funk and Bray Wyatt, and my condolences to the families and everyone involved. And wishing you the best of wishes, and hopefully you can look at the positive things and move on peacefully for everyone involved. And with Bray Wyatt, like I said, he was great wrestler, great character, and hopefully we can talk more about his career and just the wrestler he was really and what he's done for the industry.
yeah, absolutely. Couldn't have put it better myself, Rohit. Alfonso, how are you this evening? Again, apologies for the intro, but if you wanted to get some words in on Bray, then go for it.
It's difficult still for me to understand what happened. I'm a huge Bray Wyatt fan since the beginning. I have the Universal title here hanging in my room, signed by him.
Wow.
And for me, he was more than a wrestler. He was somebody that inspired me to be creative. I don't know if many guys know, but I'm a copywriter for a advertising agency called Ogilvy. And when they ask me what my job is, I have to say I am a creative, which is weird nowadays to say, "What's your job from 8 to 5?" I'm a creative. And it sounds very weird.
Yeah.
But it's difficult to put your work out in the world, just waiting for an answer just to see if people liked it or not. And for me, that was Bray. He was very brave in his ideals. He was very brave in how he wanted to show wrestling to the world. The Firefly Funhouse match with John Cena, I think, is my favorite thing in the whole wrestling history of anything. And for me, like I have told you before in many episodes, wrestling is more than just the wrestling part, the athletic part. For me, is the charisma, is the story, is the those little details that he knew and he understood and he made people care about them. So yeah, I think it's very difficult to put like in words what happened or what I'm feeling, because for me it's Eddie all over again.
Yeah.
Uh, the guy was a great wrestler. With Ham Rotunda was a great person, and you just knew that there was something missing from his career. You wanted to see what's next because you wanted to see Bray having that one last run, maybe having those Wyatt six come to alive, or maybe just having Bray Wyatt go back to being Bray Wyatt and show himself to the world, like his last promo. Um, yeah, it's very difficult to put into words. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I understand the long intro, but it's needed, and I don't think an episode of a podcast is going to uh, do justice to a loss like this. Like Terry Funk loss, it was very hard. Also, he's a hardcore legend. He was a great guy also, and when you think about Bray, you think about JoJo, you think about the kids, and I think that's the more heartbroken thing.
Yeah. Four
Uh,
young children he's left behind. Yeah.
and in those ways, like for me, like that's very hard because that's when I'm grateful to be a wrestling fan. Like I'm thinking about Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins going out there every week for us, knowing they have like children at home, every wrestler that has a family and just go around the world just trying to entertain people, and then just having those few moments with their family. I think that's a sacrifice that many times we forget about. And even if you don't like one kind of wrestling, like the LA Knight Bray Wyatt match, like the Mountain Drew, yeah,
Mountain Dew. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, Mountain Dew, yeah.
Yeah.
And even if you don't like that, you need to understand like that, like he was trying to make something else work. And I don't know what else to say, guys. Like it's very difficult to put words to feelings in these days. That same day that I like, because in this part of the world it was like very early when I found out that he passed away, and I still had like a big presentation to do at work, and I couldn't do it because I was shocked. I was so shocked that yeah, it's like for me, Bray Wyatt is more than a wrestler. He was a creative inspiration That's the way I can put it. Like for me, it was a reminder to be brave with your ideas and try to make them happen and show them to the world. And maybe some fireflies will light up and be with you along the way. It's like us doing a podcast about wrestling, and we are like just trying to make our thing happen. And we enjoy making things happen because we enjoy wrestling fans hearing us. We enjoy people sharing our stories. We enjoy that, and that's it for me. I don't know what else to say, but again, thank you for the space to say some words about Bray. I'm never going to have enough words to say about him. The title is still going to be here, hanging in my room, and every time I'm going to see wrestling, I'm going to remind people that storytelling is key, and that's the best thing about wrestling. And I think he knew that, and I'm very happy to know that.
Yeah, really, really well said,
Mhm.
Alfonso. Powerful words there.
Yeah.
Couldn't agree more. It does feel like Eddie all over again, doesn't it? His popularity, how how high he was on the card, really, how people respected him and revered him, and the creativeness as well. I couldn't agree more. Some people didn't like his ideas. Some people thought they were silly, but he had the courage to express them
Yeah.
and lay it all out there and really try things that no one has ever tried. And I think in general, I think most people really liked it. The Firefly Funhouse, the Fiend character. It was so original and unique, and it
Mhm.
was it was it was brilliant, really. Rohit, any words from you on Bray Wyatt's career?
Yeah, in terms of career, it's just like there's so many different aspects of like I feel like of people that have come and gone in the industry that was embodied by Bray with his own like unique twist on them. For example, like, he was a pretty big guy, so like he had that bruiser style like of some of the older throwback wrestlers, but also in terms of like his character, like his delivery was very Jake the Snake Roberts style, and I feel like his creative mind and personality was a bit like Raven as well. So
Yeah,
he like kind of had influences from that. I don't know if he was directly influenced or not, but felt like you could see those shades in him, and then he put his own twist on it on top of his own personality, and just made like these multiple characters and these multiple like runs that and stints in his career that like never quite like fully went over like I guess in the WWE higher ups or whatever they were thinking in terms of like their storytelling, but in terms of like the fans, I feel like really connected with something different and feel like it just worked and him as like a creative mind and just as a rest of what he did, I feel like just had everything and I feel like if he actually managed to come back and they had that feud with Bobby Lashley in place and whatever else they were going to do with him, I feel like maybe he would have had a similar line to Cody, who like, yeah, he flirted with the main event scene. Unlike Cody, he did actually win championships, but like at the main event level. But I feel like he was just that one step off from being like one of the guys in the company. And I felt like if he came back with this run, then he might have gotten there, just like how Cody is getting there now. And I feel like that was kind of missing. But with what he has done, he's just will be greatly missed, really. And he was something unique. And I feel like people like The Undertaker knew it, and so many other people knew it as well. So bit unfortunate really that they didn't pull the trigger. And I feel like that's something like certain companies should realize when they are fan favorites, when there are people that get behind the character, even if like the higher ups don't agree or in terms of the direction where they want to take the show. I feel like they should see the crowd, they should see the fans' reaction to a star, to a wrestler, to any storyline or anything really, and feel like at some point they should pull the trigger. And if it doesn't work, they can change it up back. Like I feel like Jinder Mahal was more like a business move, but they pulled the trigger, didn't work out. Fair enough, at least they tried. And I feel like if they went all in on Bray Wyatt, he could have been just like a megastar.
Yeah, yeah,
Even though he was still a megastar, I think, but he
I,
could have been even bigger.
I know what you're saying. Yeah,
Mm.
they never really went all in with him, did they?
Yeah, they didn't put the machine behind him like they did with a Roman or John Cena, and I feel like they could have. And I felt like even with that Undertaker move, whatever he said to Bray in the ring was like the final proof. He got like, it's your turn now, almost like obviously that we don't know what he said, but that's what I interpreted, saying like with bit of advice and saying it's your turn. Here's the baton. That's what I felt like.
Yeah, yeah. Obviously, he won
Mm.
the WWE Championship
Yeah.
back in 2017, which
Mhm.
was a really great moment, really feel good moment, really crowd favorite moment. Despite the fact Bray was a heel, well, he was kind of a tweener at the time, I think. And then he, like you said, he lost it to Randy Orton at WrestleMania because
Yeah.
they didn't really go all in with a push when you feel like in
Mhm.
hindsight he should have really beaten Randy and gone on a real tear with the title.
Yeah.
Yeah, for
Then
sure.
there was also the run when he debuted the Fiend, which was something so new and different and unique, and it
Yeah.
really captivated every fan. Really, I would say everybody was sort of hooked on this new mysterious character and what's he going to do, and again, the creative didn't really go his way with that either. They put him in a feud with Seth Rollins over the Universal title when maybe in hindsight, again, he didn't really need the championship. He could have just had great feuds with, certain main event wrestlers. And
Yeah.
um, but yeah, a great career, as you said, Rohi. I mean, Alfonso, what was your favorite moment from Bray's career?
It's very hard. It's very hard to choose one because I'm a big fan. But one of the most incredible things about Bray is like he has had like moments of his own, but also has been part of amazing moments. Like in general, like the Shield versus the Wyatt family was one of the
Oh,
best
in-
feuds ever.
incredible match, incredible feud,
Yeah.
incredible blow off match. Yeah.
Like the first time they just see each other across the ring, and people were chanting, "This is awesome." Before they even laid a hand on each other was amazing.
Yeah.
And one of the other like greatest moments for me is Bray Wyatt against Brian. Yeah, yeah, Daniel Bryan in the steel cage match when
Oh,
people go full yes mode. That was a great match, and that was a great moment of television.
yeah. Yeah. I love those two moments as well.
Yeah.
And would Brian's obviously Brian got a huge response that night. Would that have been possible if he wasn't stood opposite Bray Wyatt and the kind of feud they had where he sort of convinced Brian to join the family, and then Brian broke out and became this huge babyface. I think Wyatt played that role perfectly.
Yeah.
And
Uh,
also, I told before, but I think the last promo he does in the ring, and he tells about himself, about his problems, about everything, and just like try to show the world that there was more to Bray Wyatt. There was like with him Rotunda behind the Fiend, behind the Bray Wyatt, there was this amazing wrestler just waiting to be like shown. I understand what you guys said about pulling the trigger, but it's very hard because he was an attraction. And for many years, Undertaker was an attraction that became bigger and bigger and bigger. Bray Wyatt had two WrestleMania matches with John Cena and one WrestleMania match with Undertaker. And at least he had those moments.
Mhm.
And but yeah, I think every time Bray Wyatt went for the title, it wasn't the best time for his character development because he was a monster, and a monster shouldn't be the champion. He should always be like chasing the champion, or if he's going to be the champion, he has to go on a tier, like you guys said. Like he cannot just like be
Yeah.
losing by DQ in a Hell in a Cell.
Mhm.
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
almost like Kane in that sense, wasn't he? Where Kane
Mhm.
never ever really needed the title at any point.
Exactly.
His whole aura and his look and everything about him made him who he was.
But I felt like he had a bit of that machine behind him still, even though he wasn't like pushed to the moon. He had that backing, and whether creative was better, whether they actually understood his character better than Bray's, that could have been a factor. We will never know. But at least I felt like it worked for Kane, whereas for Bray Wyatt it worked. But there was always like a point whether it's like going up for the title, whether it was losing the championship, whether it's being in the wrong end of the feud, like losing the feud or whatever. There was always something that up to some point blocked him, then pushed him back down to in his momentum and his growth and his like becoming this attraction, as Alfonso said. Right, and then he has to work back up to get to that point. And when he reaches it, he surpasses it a little bit and gets put back down again. Always felt like that. I don't know what it is exactly, but always felt like that. He was always so close and then always got pushed down a little bit.
Yeah, I think it was
Mhm.
probably. I mean, I don't know, but it's probably
Yeah,
timing more than anything. Like
could
Alfonso
be.
said, it was the
Hmm.
wrong time for him to be facing Seth Rollins for the
Yeah.
Universal title. He
Hmm.
just debuted the character. He probably needed to show everybody exactly what the Fiend character was
Hmm.
like over a number of months and
Yeah.
really establish the kind of monster side to that character.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
but but yeah, I mean, my personal, I don't really have a favorite moment because he was, like Alfonso said, he was one of my favorite guys too. Really, I thought he
Hmm.
was incredible. Really, really talented. Probably not the best in-ring worker to put, as such, because there were better technical wrestlers and things like
Yeah.
that. But it was more his character, his aura. I absolutely loved the Wyatt family as a three. When
Yeah.
they'd appear on the screen, it was pitch black, and then he'd lit the lantern. Then they'd appear on screen and say, "We're here," and he blew out the lantern. That kind of like goosebump type moments I used to get with those. I used to sort of, if I was watching an episode of Raw and I was a bit bored, and then I saw them, I would just immediately stand up and be hooked onto the screen. And here come the Wyatts. And
Yeah.
another great thing was the entrance.
Yeah.
The entrance was iconic, and I'm very, very lucky and very privileged to say I saw Bray Wyatt's entrance live. I saw a show they did in 2016 in Birmingham, and it really is something special. Obviously, everybody on the TV, watching it on the TV, can see how great it is, but to experience it live, it's just something that's hard to really put into words. The fireflies, the slow walk down to the ring with the lantern, the pitch black of the entire arena. It just had a great aura and mystique about him, and it just made you want to see what he was going to do next.
Y- Yeah. It's like the how you explained it. Like the White family were really, really good. It's like one of my friends when I told him that this person, this wrestler's passed away. He doesn't really watch wrestling anymore. He dipped his toe here and there maybe, but he was like, oh, it's this guy, the scary people, and just like that impression of Bray Wyatt. I'm like, yeah, it captivated people in a sense where they were like, oh, unsure what he was, unsure where he was going. Oh, he is a bit scary. He does have that mystique and aura to him, which is like quite interesting from a non-wrestling perspective. That's how they remember him in a way, saying, "Oh, he was that scary person."
Yeah,
That's
yeah, because
pretty cool.
in kayfabe terms, if you were a wrestler in the ring
Hmm.
and you saw those three guys on the screen saying "We're here,"
Yeah,
you'd crap your pants, wouldn't you?
yeah, it's true. It's true. You would.
Yeah, for sure. Uh, but for me, like I love the Wyatt family. I love the Fiend and everything. But the Firefly Funhouse
Yeah.
with this like character that is like I almost forget the name. The guy from the States that does the TV shows for kids, Mister What? You know the reference?
I
Oh,
I I know what you're on about, but I don't know his name.
Okay,
I can't remember his name either.
yeah, but but that character for me, like the weeks before the Finn appear with the puppets and everything, for me was so fun. It was very very fun because that was different. Like for many years, like the way that Bray speaks in the Wyatt family is very captivating. It's like you guys said, is Raven, is Snake, is whatever you want because it was very captivating.
Yeah.
But then having this different character, I forget it. I know I have the name in the tip of my tongue, but I don't remember it. But yeah, for me, that like red sweater and everything, and all the little Easter eggs they were throwing us, I think it
Yeah.
was amazing. But let's go a little bit closer to these days and his entrance with the Brody Lee door with
Yeah.
the puppets like coming alive. I think that moment I was in awe. Like that was a main event of a pay per view,
Oh, it was an
and
incredible moment, wasn't it?
That
Yeah.
was really good. Yeah. Good
and
class.
we were just waiting for an entrance. That was the main event, and we were like waiting the whole night just to see him coming back because we want him to come back. And I think that was the biggest compliment ever because it doesn't matter how many times Creative fucked up with his character
Yeah.
or anything. You want to give him another try. You want to
Hmm.
see him come back and show us what's going on with Bray now,
Yeah.
what he's going to show us now. And I think time will tell us that he was a great character and everything because yeah, it was he wasn't the best wrestler, but it was captivating to see him. The Sister Abigail, the first time he did the spider walk.
Hmm.
So many things are iconic about Bray Wyatt that I think that's one of the best memories we're going to get. Like from time to time, like we're going to remember. Like if someone does urunagi, I think Bray Wyatt had one of the best urunagis ever.
He had a great Uranagi, didn't he? Yeah.
Yeah, for sure, definitely. Especially in WWE, I've seen a lot of like sloppy Uranagis in WWE, but his one was really crisp and really
Proper
cool.
slammed him down, didn't he?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
that's what it's supposed to be because if you think about it, the rock bottom is a Uranagi, and no offense, like it looks awful in some aspects. Sometimes it looks actually passable, but other times I'm like, doesn't look that great.
Yeah, because The Rock goes down with them, doesn't he? Instead of just
Yeah,
slamming them. Yeah. But
yeah,
like you said, Alfonso, as well, his finishing maneuver, the Sister Abigail,
yeah.
very, very iconic move, really. The touch of him planting a kiss on their head before delivering the move, the speed in which he delivered the move. He was very explosive in the ring. Like you said, not really the best
Yeah,
sort of in-ring worker, technical wrestler, but he could captivate you with some of his explosiveness for such a big guy. He was deceptively quick, I felt in the
yeah,
ring.
yeah. And you don't have to be the best wrestler in the world, like technically or athletically. Like as long as you understand, I feel like the business and you have like a personality or character, you can work around it. Like if you want a recent example, the Miz has been doing it for quite a while. He's not the most technical best wrestler, but his mic skills are really good. He's got that character down. And if you're talking about like more old school, Mick Foley never been like the most technical. He had more of a hardcore and bruising style, but he's had the Dude Love, the Cactus Jacks, the Mankinds, and he made that work as well. So I feel like you don't have to be the best technical wrestler in the world or the best athletic wrestler in the world to get things done in that world, really.
Yeah,
Yeah,
couldn't agree more. Yeah, go on, Alfonso. Sorry.
but for me, like is the way he spoke. Like
Hmm.
the first vignette, his debut vignette is so eerie. Like is so I got so many goosebumps when I first saw it, and I think one of the best promos is the Mr. Lady, Mr. Teacher, when he said for the first time he got the whole world on his hands, and I know a lot of people don't like that moment, but I like it when he had like all the children in sheep masks singing that song. It was very eerie for me, and I like it.
Yeah.
And for me, it also remembers another tragic death that is Mac Miller. I don't know if you guys know who that guy is. He was a rapper, and he died very young. Also, he died of 26 years old about a drug overdose. And he had a song that said, uh, "Sometimes you can have the whole world in your hands, and it can slip from your hands." And that's how I feel about the death of Bray, because you felt like he, and there is the same story about not pulling the trigger on him. You have this great character, this great mind, this great wrestler, and there were moments that you were like, okay, WWE, go for it. Like, have him destroy Randy Orton, have him beat John Cena at WrestleMania 30.
Yeah.
You know,
Hmm.
and he could be much more, but yeah, like for me, one of the like the truly like great moments about creative about Bray Wyatt is like when he just destroyed Finn Balor at SummerSlam.
The debut of the Fiend.
Yeah, the
Hmm.
debut of the
Yeah.
Finn. Yeah, but yeah, I think um, it was a great career, a short career, but let's hope we get to see more people influenced by him. And I think we're going to keep seeing people giving tributes about him, because I have seen so many videos of him just being like super cool with fans, super cool with people. And you hear all these stories about the human behind the character, and you realize he was a great guy. Like
Yeah.
Tommaso Ciampa telling that he was the first one to welcome him with open arms. And when you think about it, he's a third generation wrestler,
Yeah.
and he could have been like a douchebag, because many of the third generation wrestlers are like a little bit douchey because they feel entitled to be in that position. But he
Mhm.
never felt like that. He always felt like he was trying to prove himself to the world. And yeah, thank you, Ray, for everything. I don't know what else to add.
Yeah, really, really great. Just like something that I enjoyed personally, like one of the, like I enjoyed him like pretty much like even though I don't watch WWE as much, I did enjoy most of his stuff. But one thing I really liked and I thought I could really see was having fun and having someone else with him that had like the creative juices as well was when he was working with Matt Hardy in the Broken universe stuff. I
Yes.
felt
Yeah,
like that was really great. And while WWE did back it quite a bit, I feel like if they took it to the next level, I feel like both of them could have just had even so much fun and their creative juices flowing and everything. I think like in an ideal world, they could have literally won the championship, hug all the belts, and especially now, since in the recent years WWE has started to use more factions and stables again with the Bloodline and the Judgment Day, I feel like Brian Matt Hardy could have built a faction around them and really taken over WWE, like something like the Ministry of Darkness, but obviously different, but something like that, but like really
I
taking WWE by storm.
I think that was the plan for the Wyatt
Yeah.
Six.
Yeah, that's what it seemed like. But I felt like they could have done it then as well, and like obviously, then potentially have a Matt Hardy Bray Wyatt feud as well out of it. So I think that could have worked, but obviously didn't happen. And then obviously with the Wyatt, say as you mentioned, Alfonso, if they were going that direction, that would have been very interesting to see how that would have mixed against the Bloodline or against the Judgment Day or whoever else, whatever other faction was around at the time or group. I think would have been really interesting.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Well said, both of you. We will we'll wrap it up there. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great words. Great tributes. Great. Great to talk about the good moments and great things that Bray Wyatt accomplished. Like we've said already, one of the best minds in recent memory. Very revered by his peers, and
Yeah.
like Alfonso said, just the man behind Bray Wyatt, Wyndham Rotunda. What a what a great guy by all accounts. Really, really nice guy. And wrestling has lost one of the good ones, really. Real tragic story. But
and before we go, I think it's important, and it's going to sound weird, but we have to plug the WWE store, because right now everything that is merch related with Bray Wyatt goes to Jojo and her family.
Absolutely, yeah.
So it's a good moment to follow the buzzards, to become a Firefly, to have a weird ass title with the Finn face, or to have the head of Bray Wyatt, or whatever you want, because you're going to support a family that needs all the support in the world. And I think it's also a good moment to say thank you also to WWE for taking Friday as a tribute show for Bray, and Monday also. But it's also a good moment, like you said in the beginning, to say thank you to all the AEW wrestlers and fans that have also come along and say thanks and pay tribute to Bray. And also Tony Khan, that apparently has allowed the wrestlers that if they want to miss the next two Dynamites, just to go to Bray Memorial Services, they can do it. And I think that's a great touch by a great man. And he understands that wrestling in the end is a community. And I think it was Swerve that said it. We cannot just come together when tragedy strikes. Sorry.
It's okay.
When I get emotional, it's very difficult to speak in another language. But
I understand. Yeah,
been a highly emotional week. But yeah, well said, Alfonso. And finally, a thank you to Wyndham Rotunda for an amazing career, great memories. Just he did so much for wrestling fans. Absolutely.
And even sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say absolutely amazing career. If he didn't really reach his full potential, it was still, he did so much.
Great.
So much for
100%.
the business, so much. And everybody, I think us three, everybody at One Stop Wrestling, send our deepest condolences to Jojo, his 4 kids, and everybody around him, all his family and friends. Really sad moment. But
even in like New Japan on the social media has posted about it, which is great touch, because I don't think they had really any involvement or like maybe even like contact with Bray, but just to post it is very nice touch, and it shows like the communities of, regardless of what you like, can come together. So again, it's a sad moment for it to happen, but and also I know it's mainly Bray this show's been about, but also still let's also not forget about Terry Funk, and he should also rest in peace. But hopefully both their souls will rest in peace. They're in a better place, and we'll see what unfolds next, really, and hope everyone affected.
I'm pretty sure right now Bray is having a match with Brody Lee, with Terry Funk as the referee.
He's back reunited with his brother up there.
Wouldn't be surprised.
Well, guys, thank you so much for this evening. You've both said everything so well. Brilliant tributes, brilliant words. So thank you, guys, and rest in peace, Wyndham Rotunda. You'll find this episode on YouTube, guys. Look on our Facebook and Twitter, and
please share with us your favorite Bray Wyatt, Wyndham Rotunda, The Finn, or whatever you want moment, because sharing his legacy is going to keep him alive in our hearts. So,
absolutely.
Thank you for everything, Bray. Thank you for everything, wrestling fans, and follow One Stop Wrestling.
Yeah, well said, Alfonso. Thank you so much for the time tonight, guys. Obviously, kind of been easy, but we've done him justice, I think. So, thanks a lot, guys, and we will see you on the next one. Take it easy.
Take care, everyone. Pleasure.